Hope you are enjoying this communication session.
Yeah, great.
And was useful to you.
Yes, sir. Greatly.
Now let us get into one small portion of communication called presentation. As I said, communication is a complete cycle, verbal, written, and body language. Okay. A presentation, and as I said, more important is listening in communication. Okay. The communication is full of listening, then responding to it. So that's what is communication. So one important part of communication is presentation, where you may have to present to a group of people or a large audience, or to a senior person to take a major decision. So let us look at how to go about making a very impactful presentation. Let me make a disclaimer saying that I am not going to teach you how to make PPT. That's not the purpose of this. Making PPT is a very small part of it.
Yes.
So there are many people are there who will teach you PPT. My job is not that here. My job is to how to prepare a presentation and how to prepare yourself for a presentation. Okay, so that's what we are going to look at. Okay. So before we start, remember your presentation should be relevant, simple, and to the point. Okay. It's very, very important to make it very relevant. And the biggest problem with presenters or trainers or most of the speakers are they are not prepared well. They have not prepared the relevant points. They start talking whatever they know. If you know what to talk, you start speaking whatever you know. So that may not have any relevance at all. When you speak something which is not relevant, then it is going to be meaningless. No one is going to appreciate. So it's very, very important to make the presentation very relevant and simple and to the point. Yes. This is point number one. And the audience shall be won over only by the depth and breadth of your knowledge rather than a show of false intellect and wit. There's another big problem we found in most of the presenters, more specific to trainers, I see. If you make it like a comedy show, they feel the training is hit. That's not the case. I don't make so many comedy, when I give any training, but I only give whatever the best knowledge required, the deep knowledge required for the person to learn and understand. So over a period of time, all these comedy shows will not last long. People will come and just an enjoyment and then go. So end of the day, what you learned, if you look at it, probably nothing except few jokes.
Yes.
So that is not the purpose of presentation unless it is actually a comedy show.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So the audience shall be won only by the depth and breadth of the right knowledge you have, not the fake ones. We also found most of the trainers, they get into internet, download many information, pick and place, and prepare PPT and go and discuss. So this is not the way it should be. You should speak on only those subjects where you have good command of knowledge, you have good experience. So that you can speak from your experience, not from what you read in a book or read in a, website or something. So that most important thing is your positive attitude, energy, and enthusiasm for the subject will speak volumes. So when you speak with a positive attitude and the right energy and right enthusiasm, that also makes people to like it and understand you and speak and take you more seriously. So presentation as a process, if you remember communication also we discussed as a process. Yes. The presentation as a process, let's say one, preparing a presentation, preparing yourself, delivering a presentation, and handling an audience. So only this four process. First of all, you have to prepare the content properly, then prepare yourself to make the presentation, then deliver a presentation, then handling the audience. So these four are most important. Okay.
Fourth one is more difficult.
No, everything is easy, everything is difficult. It depends on how you prepare. Okay. Nothing is easy and nothing is difficult also. Let's look at what is to be done in preparing a presentation. Okay. So first thing is define the purpose. You need to define the purpose of your presentation. Like once you have written your speech or presentation, cut it. Whatever minimum you can keep it in your speech and presentation, it will be easy. I can also put 35 lines in this page, in this slide, right? But I put only some key points and I'm only explaining it. It's called KISS strategy. keep it simple and stupid. Okay. I call it stupid so that anyone can understand. Keep it simple and stupid. Study. Okay. And group similar ideas together to establish themes. Don't keep on talking about, many number of ideas which is going to talk about the same theme. So better to group similar ideas and make as a theme. So that will give a bigger value about your presentation. Okay. Purpose to depend on these three. Type of message you wish to deliver, nature of the audience, and physical surroundings of the venue. Okay. So what type of message you are going to deliver, that's important. And what nature of the audience. It's very important that you should get the information about the audience before you go, or the kind of people you are going to have, so that your presentation pattern can be changed. Physical surroundings of the venue also. Some venue may be open, some venue may not have air conditioning, some venue have good air conditioning, some may have audio system, some may not have, you may have to shout and speak. You should know the physical surroundings. It's very important to know the physical surroundings, or if it is a big stage, then your PPT font should be in a bigger size so that people can see from the distance. Or if it is going to be a small room, then font size can be less, small. You can put more images to discuss. So depending upon the physical surroundings of the venue, also you should be able to decide. Okay.
You need to align accordingly.
Align accordingly. Yeah. So review the purpose to ensure the simplicity of the concept and ask yourself how you want your presentation to be received. Modify your purpose accordingly. Imagine yourself as a receiver. Somebody is going to present it. You are going to sit there. So just imagine if whatever you're going to speak, whatever you're going to say, as a receiver, how much you will understand. Look at from that perspective. Then accordingly, see, what purpose, I need to exactly build in so that people understand. So defining your purpose is going to be very, very important. Then knowing your audience, always remember to talk to your audience. Always it's important you look at the audience and speak to them. At least, in every corner you should find somebody, who is attentively listening to you. You should keep looking at them so that they know you are speaking to them. It's not that you just keep looking at it and keep on reading it. Okay. So it's very important that, when you make a presentation, you look at your audience. And always, also it will help you to understand the reactions from their face and see whether, you are going the right pace. Like I have a habit of asking people, are you okay? Is it going at the right pace? You're able to understand. I keep asking. Many people may not like to ask, but by looking at their face, you'll be able to find out. Easy to understand. Make sure that audience leaves the venue feeling informed. When you know your audience well, you know exactly what information to be given to them. Okay. If there's an audience, you're going to make a presentation about industry, let's say, starting about industry. If the audiences are going to be mostly startups. Okay. Then not only saying how to start a company, you should also say how to get a loan, or how to generate the fund, or how to recruit the right people. Okay. So that, they know exactly, whatever they wanted, they get it. And involve your audience in the presentation as much as possible. Make it, two-way. So always ask questions, make people to speak, ask their experience, or ask their problems. So it's very important that, you should involve your audience in the presentation. So your presentation model itself should be made in such a way that, you're able to put some, role play, if it is a training, or if it is kind of a seminar, you're going to put right questions so that you can ask. So you need to decide, this is the kind of audience I have, this is the kind of expectation is there, how I should make them interactive so that I can involve them more. Now, checklist to know the audience. How to know the audience? Okay. So, what is the expected size? One. And what is the average of age? Why we need to know expected size?
This expected size may be, as you said, the loudness or that level we can understand. But age is required.
If the age difference is too much, then you need to cater to all those age. Somebody is at 21 years there, somebody is at 60 years also there. The level of understanding is very different.
Okay.
So that, X generation people, Y generation people, baby boomers, Z generation, and millennials are there. All those millennial kids are there. So if you want to have that kind of mixture of audience, then you need to give something for each category of audience. So it's very important to know the age, average age. Okay. Also the kind of language you use. Somebody at the age of 20s speak a different language than somebody at the age of 60. Okay. So you need to have the mix of that. And what is the ratio of males and females? That's also important. So if a considerable amount of females are going to be there, you can't always say him, he. You should always put she or her. Otherwise, it might make them a bit upset. So they may not listen to you well. Is the audience well informed about the subject? That's very important. When I was giving a lecture in Baroda Management Association some 25 years back, the subject was labor management. Okay. So 1.5 hour session. Few doctors were there. So they thought I'm going to talk about labor pain management. So I was talking about industrial relations, human labor. So it's very important that your audience knows exactly what subject you are going to talk about. Okay. Has the audience chosen or been asked to attend? That's also important. The right audience have been chosen, or because somebody is organizing some program, so people are just forced to go and attend. So you need to know, so that shows the interest level. So accordingly, you can decide the duration, decide the depth of the subject. What do audience have in common? That's also important. Like most of the people are vegetarians, most of the people are non-vegetarians, most of people are, let's say, Christians or Hindus. So when you use examples, you can be very careful without offending people. So you need to have what audience have in common. And what prejudices does the audience support? That's also very important. Okay. For example, if you are going to address a group of laborers, okay, and if you are going to talk about management greatness, they're not going to do that. Except they will be having unions. They always think the management is not the management is their villain. So you need to know what kind of prejudices are there. So accordingly, your pattern has to be presented in such a way that what you are saying is good for them. Yeah. Okay. Not that you have been bought by somebody and you are only speaking their words. And what is the cultural makeup of the audience? That's also important. When you say cultural makeup, if I can take an example, when I was conducting a program in Africa, I don't want to say the country name, it may not be right. So in the evening there was a party, they cut a tortoise head and collected the blood and put vodka in it, and they said this is the best cocktail in the world. So I'm a teetotaler, I don't even take anything, but it looks very awkward to me. I've seen a few Koreans cutting and eating the dog. So in their culture, that is right. Yeah. So it may not be right for me. So it's very important to know that what kind of culture they belong to, what beliefs they have. Like many Islam countries follow hijab. Okay. And very, very open countries are there in Europe. Okay. You cannot criticize people covering fully. Also, you cannot criticize people not covering at all. Yeah. It's all in their cultural makeup. So some people may come with fully covered, some people may come with almost closer to 2 piece also. Yeah. So you should know what is the kind of cultural makeup you're going to have, what kind of cultural people coming. So your examples, your explanation should not by any way, criticize or heckle their cultural makeup. It's very important to know that. Does everyone or anyone in the audience know you? That's also important, so that you can actually take his help. Oh, okay. So if he knows you, whenever there is any subject or whenever you want some people to start speaking, you can address him, ask him to speak, so others will join. Yeah. Okay. Or whenever there's an argument in the presentation, you can actually ask him, what do you think? Great. Provided he's a good friend of yours. Okay. That is most important. So this is a checklist to know the audience. Okay. So before getting into presentation, you should know what kind of thing are there. This can be presenting to your customers or presenting to your suppliers, presenting to your own staff members, your own company or senior people, or to public, or to group of people for training. Applies to everyone. So you should very carefully do this and then go to presentation or prepare it accordingly.
Yeah, I have one question here. Rest everything is somewhat okay. What prejudices the audience hold? Is there any methods or any how to find it? Just by knowing the culture, how can I understand what prejudice they will have?
No, for example, as I said, let's say a big company want you to train their workers.
Okay.
So there, you should talk more about how to make their work more easy, how to live stress free, or how to take care of their own health, or how to save money, or how to live life happily. This is a kind of approach you should look at instead of saying how to help the community make money.
Okay.
If it is for a management staffs, the best thing is we always say, purpose of any organization is to make money. The company, everyone in the company should help the company to make money. The same I may not tell to the workers or laborers.
Yes.
So rather I would look at how they can improve their own work so that their stress reduces. Or what kind of life skills they should have so that they can save money, they can have a happy life.
Yeah.
Okay. Or what kind of thing they have to do so that their work improves. I will not say how that is going to help the community make more money.
Great.
So this is a kind of prejudice you should know what kind of prejudice they have. So accordingly, you should design your presentation.
Definitely. Okay. On this regards, one thing I learned from you was you can make the workers work easily and also improve the productivity that you have already proven
in places we have done.
Yeah, proven in many places. Changing the layouts, great, so many things.
Putting lean into place, a lot of other ideas. So it is always better to visit the venue in advance so that you know the layout. So you know where you can walk inside to go to the people. You cannot just stand at one place and keep on speaking in a presentation or training. It's always better you walk around, go closer to the people. So for that it's important to know the layout. Okay. And compare the schedule of preparation for the day. You should always put an agenda and see how you should do that. And for every hour of presentation, put aside 10 hours of preparation. So the lesser the time, you need more amount of time to prepare. Because in a given short time, you have to give a lot of input. Okay. So as a basic standard, we say, if you have to make presentation for 1 hour, you should prepare at least for 10 hours. Okay. And confirm all the details of the event with organizer, so that check whether organizer might think you will bring the slides more. He might think you might bring projector also, or he may bring flip charts. It's better to confirm.
Yeah.
Saying that this is what is required. Okay. And also sometimes I always say, because I would prefer a little cooler environment. So I say the temperature should be around 20 to 23 degrees. So it's better to inform the people who are going to attend the temperature is going to be like this. Bring your blazer or bring a sweatshirt or something like that. And check the equipment before the presentation starts. You should always go at least, if possible, previous day or 1 hour before, do all the checks. Okay. If possible, rehearse on arrival at venue. Like I said, go 1 hour before and see which area I want to stand, how you want to present. Better to rehearse. Okay. Now checklist at the start. Okay. Who is organizing the event? How will you be traveling? What size and shape is the room? In some places, it can be having pillars also. So, some people will be sitting the other side of the pillar. They may not be able to see you properly. So, you should see how you should move around, or can we change the layout? What equipment will be available? Who is speaking before you? And who will be introducing me and introducing you? So, it's very important to know all this. If somebody is speaking before you is going to speak similar subject, then you need to put extra efforts to come out with information which he may not speak. You have to prepare well. In case if he is speaking something which you already prepared, then you should have extra points. Yeah. Or if somebody is speaking before you is speaking entirely a different subject, then you should start with talking about that subject and bring a simile to this subject, then start, so that there's a continuity. It's very important that you should know who is going to speak to you before, speak before you, and what is the style of speaking they are going to do. She's going to be a very aggressive speaker, or going to be a very mild speaker, but it's going to be a speaker who will make the people tiresome. You should know. So that if it is a very sparkling, energetic speaker, you don't need to worry much. Just continue that. If it's already made the people very dull, then don't go to the subject straight away. Do something to make the people awaken, then do that. And why you should know who is going to introduce you, so that you know what he's going to tell you, or at least you can give the right information. So that he talks the right things about.
Yeah.
So these are the checklists, before start you should have. And as I said, knowing your venue, assess a venue. The venue will set the mood of your presentation. Very, very important. If it is like a boardroom style, where people sit behind a table like this, then their understanding, their attitude is going to be very different. Their attitude will be more cold. They will sit like a board of directors. Okay. So you have to decide, if this program is going to need lot of homework, a lot of physical work in terms of calculating, doing some work, then your table and chair. There are round table system. Yeah. Where there are going to be a lot of teamwork, a lot of group activities, then best to have is a round table so that you can make this as a team. If it is going to be more of a lecture and some games and all, best thing is to go for a U style without any table, only chat. Yes. So that people are more vulnerable, they come forward. So if to do that, you should know what kind of venue you have and how you are going to set the mood of it. Based on the kind of presentation, you need to have the right venue, or right layout of the venue. So once you know the venue, then you can decide whether this layout is okay or you need to change the layout. Okay. Most of the hotels, when you conduct a program, they put a round table. Yes. So if it is going to be an activity based, it is better to have a U shape and only no table, only chairs. So when you go an hour early, you can ask them to change the setup. Yes. It's very important to assess the venue. Locate the light switches so that if necessary, you can dim them or switch off them. Otherwise, you will keep searching one by one. So better to go and check which switch is for what. Keep it ready so you can tell them, switch off that. Decide on positioning of any visual aids well in advance. In case you are going to put any displays or any flip chart you are going to put, any exercise examples you are going to put, better to go and put it in advance before the people come. Maybe you can cover it if we don't want to show them. That time you can open it. Plan in advance how you will make your exit. It's very important to have a right start and very important to close it. Exit is not going out. Okay. Except for the presentation. So it is always important to have a right start and right end. Right. The starting should be to create interest in people. And the exit should be with the proper conclusion so that I know what to follow for my life or what to follow next. Okay? Right climax. Yeah, right climax, you can say. So always a seating to get the right balance. Not that everyone is sitting at one side. Put it in such a way that they are able to fill the room. Ensure that you know how the equipment and system functions. It's very important to know that how the equipment is going to work. If I take an example, I'm talking about 1996 in Kenya, we went for a training. Okay. So 2 days we were there, we did a study and prepared it. Then we were supposed to give 10 days training. So for the next day training, about 60 people were coming. So we need to prepare 60 sets of material, support material. So we prepared about 60 slides. The same we are going to print and give it to them. Yeah. So as every trainer does, last minute preparation, it was 8:30 in the evening we completed. So the administration person gave the office key. He said, sir, this is a photocopy machine. You just need to put the paper. It will copy one by one and also collate it and spiral bind and give it to you. It's a whole machine. He said, fine, very good. He took the key and we worked. 8:30 I went to the photocopy machine. There are some 60, 70 buttons. We don't know what to push. We tried each and everything. We do not know how to. And we need to make about 50 copies. And about 50, 60 pages each. Then typical regular style open, put one page, take 50 copies. We were, taking copies till 2 o'clock in the morning. Only because we don't know how to use that equipment.
Yeah.
So it's very important, what equipments are there, how to use them. For example, you have to increase the volume. If you don't know where is there, then you'll be wasting 10 minutes calling somebody and increasing the volume or reduce the volume. So it's important that, when you go 1 hour in advance, you should know all these things in your video. Okay. Keep spare seats in reserve for any latecomers. Always keep 4-5 chairs in the corner. Whenever there's a latecomer, you can do that.
Without disturbing the crowd.
So this is what we call it, knowing your venue. This is all you should do it before you start the session.
Okay. On the third last before point, that equipment, I have seen you will be first going to a place, understanding. If there's a touch board, you will be getting the touch board. You will use every equipment possible so that make that interactive.
Correct. So that is important that you know what are the equipments are there and what is the purpose of it.
Yeah.
Okay. It should not be like the Mr. X joke, no? Somebody wants to buy a TV. Every day he was going to a shop. He asked, how much is this TV? That storekeeper said, we don't give TV to Mr. X. He said, how do you know I'm Mr. X? Please get out. Then he goes the next day, he covers himself in some other, makeup comes. He says, how much is this TV? We don't sell it to Mr. X. Again went. And third day he comes, shaving his head, removing mustache. Completely different man. How much is this TV? We don't sell TV to Mr. X. He was very upset. He said, what the hell you mean here? Whether you sell me TV or not, I want to know how do you find out I'm Mr. X? Every day you come on and show oven and ask me to sell it to you as a TV. It is not TV, it's an oven. Like that. You should know what equipment is for what purpose.
Yeah.
So that is also important. Many equipments may have a different purpose you may not know. It's important for you to go there and understand it well so that you are able to use it well.
Yeah.
There are many areas, the lighting system can be linked with the audio in case in between you want to play music. So the music can be linked with the light. The light will play as per the music plays. This and all, if you know, will make it more lively, more energetic. It's very important. Okay, let's go next. So clarifying the objectives, first, very important thing. Structure the entire presentation around 3 or 4 main points. Okay. Like for this also, we put only 4 main points.
Yes.
Preparing the presentation, knowing the audience, preparing yourself, and delivering it. Right. So like that, it's very important to have 3-4 points. We say maximum 6 points. We normally say 6 into 6. 6 topics maximum, 6 lines maximum in a slide. 6 points maximum in a slide. So that's the best way to make people to attract. Okay. So let's say structure the entire presentation around 3 or 4 main points. Keep the audience interested by including a few relevant anecdotes. Very important, you put some anecdotes relevant to those points so that's what people remember forever. Okay.
Yeah.
And make sure you deliver the main concepts of the presentation clearly. By focusing on, explaining small things, you should not lose time on explaining main concepts. So main concept should be at any cost to be explained. So you have to make sure that. And summarize your main points in 1 sentence. So that, that sentence is easy for them to remember and they will be able to follow it forever. If you give many points, people may forget. All those main points, if you can summarize it in 1 sentence. Okay. So that will make proper sense. For example, if you can say, delivering an excellent presentation by preparing yourself well, knowing your audience and knowing your venue.
Yeah. This covers everything.
This covers everything. Something like that, you should have 1 sentence which covers all the main topics. Okay. So choose the main or key points. Concentrate on 3 E's: educate, entertain, and explain. The only problem is most of the people focus on the middle E. So that is where they lose. They cannot go for long term. People may feel very happy that day, but after 2 days, and they try to remember what we learned, nothing, they can come out. The most important thing is educate. To support this education, you will give some entertainment so that it makes it more easy for people to learn, and explain it well. Explain it well to the extent that people understand. Okay. Set the right tone and style of self. You know, to set the right tone when you speak. And also, you don't need to copy anyone. You should have your own style. Same. Okay. Like I said, everyone says, you should always smile and speak, sir. Not necessary. You should smile, but not necessarily always you should smile. It's your style. Okay. But with the right tone and right style, if you give the right input, people are going to like it. That's very important. Encourage response. When somebody tries to ask questions, or maybe you set your rules in the beginning, saying that, sir, after every session, we will have a small interactive session. Or, somebody like me, I would say, no problem, stop me anytime and ask. Yeah. If it is irrelevant, I would say we will discuss later. If it is relevant, I will immediately answer. Okay. Because by asking the right question, you will be able to get better output from me, which is going to be beneficial for all. So, encouraging response is very, very important. And use your knowledge spontaneously. It's very important that when somebody asks any questions, you explain with the right example. So, that shows that you know the subject well. It's not that you copy it from something. Yeah. So, it's very important that, people believe that the knowledge what you are dissipating there is original. It's real. Is it clear, Shankar?
Yeah, yes, everything's clear. It's
good. Yeah. Now, finding material, the most important thing. Everyone looks at only Google. Okay.
No ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. At least Google was giving only information, and ChatGPT gives a whole solution. And many times that's a crap also.
Yeah.
So, nothing wrong in collecting the information, but use that information as a support. See, when you present it, you should have a good amount of knowledge in that subject. To support it, you can take information. You should not try to present something you completely don't know. Or you should do a complete research, satisfy yourself, see to that you understand it very well. Then you should, go for presenting it. So, finding material, collect information and data by focusing why this presentation is necessary. You have to understand why this presentation is made. What is going to be the purpose of it? That's very, very important. What the training will involve, training or presentation will involve. Okay. What the end results of presentation are hoped to be. By doing it, what you want to achieve.
Yes.
That's the purpose of it, correct? And what are the expected benefits from the presentation? All the four are almost same. The meaning, if you look at it, is almost same. Why it is necessary, what it is going to involve, and what results are expected, and what are the benefits. So you should be very clear in this four. So once you are clear in this, then you know what to search. So this information, what you are going to collect, will be as a support, not as a main subject. It's expected that you know the main subject, and you want to get more support to that. Okay. So keep your main objectives in mind while collecting the information. Because the biggest problem is when you get into something like Google and try to collect information, so many other things will come.
Yes.
You will miss it and start getting into that. Yes. There's a good possibility you may get, completely missed on this. Spoil, completely, getting overjoyed on some other information which is no connected at all. Yeah. Try different sources to get maximum information. Speak to the right people. Let's say if we are going to make a presentation about, let's say, Kolkata. Speak to some friends there, he may be able to give you more information than Google. Okay. So you need to use different sources to get maximum information. And do not ignore a good source just because information is not immediately accessible. There could be a good source. For example, we are doing a study for a hotel to be built in Tuticorin, for a feasibility study. Okay. So we need to know the footprint of people, who are visiting to Tuticorin. So what are the possible ways? So many people come in car. So toll gate is one possible from all the directions. So many buses come. So, RTC is one. There's an airport. That is one. And there's a railway station. That is one. And there are a lot of people who come by two-wheelers. So now, getting the information from toll gate was relatively easy. We went there and got 6 months data from them because it's available in system.
Yeah.
But how to get it from railway station? We don't know how many people come to Tuticorin are basically from Tuticorin. We don't know.
Yes.
Okay. From toll gate, we could find out. We believed whichever car is not of that particular town's number, we got their coming from outside. Okay. So, but we need this information. How to collect it? Okay. So it's a good source. Railway is a good source to get information, but it's difficult to access this level of data. See, we kept on, following up with the railway station master, this, that, and he gave some input in Chennai to find out. So based on that, around to the tune of 90% accuracy, we found out how many people might be a traveler to come and stay. Okay. Like, for example, if somebody comes and goes the next day. So mostly he's a business visitor. So that's how we look at it. If somebody comes and goes back after two weeks, then probably he's a native. Somebody travels within 2-3 days, we consider that as a business visitor. And that we put some percentage, only so many people will take a hotel. So when this is a good source, difficult to get information, but that's where the information will be good.
Yes.
So you need to find a way to collect the information from there. Any information we collect from an easy mode may not hold much value. That might have some information that may not be a perfect, good information. So it's important that, you should not ignore a good source because it's not easy to access. But you should find a way to get it. So that you'll be able to collect and find the right material. Shall we go next?
Yes.
Now structuring the material. Okay. Decide how many points you want to make in your presentation. Like I said, we are going to make only 4 points here. Okay. So like that, in each point, each subject, what points we are going to make. So decide that. Because while preparing it, it's a good possibility out of enthusiasm will keep on adding this also, that also, this also, that also. So it might, take you out of control on time and may be boring also. Like as I said, too much information is going to be a problem.
Yes.
So make sure that the presentation ends on a strong and positive note. As I said, you should know how to exit. Okay. So that you leave a last longing, impression so that people start following. Use narrative to give a subject recognizable beginning, middle, and end. Okay. So narrative should be in such a way that your subject, in the beginning itself, they should be able to recognize this is the right subject, middle, and also end. And it should not lag anywhere. Okay. Use symbols wherever possible. Nowadays, the smileys and all are very, very important. Okay. Those smileys, those most commonly accepted symbols, you can use it. Others, we normally say avoid using symbols. Like if you know this story of, I think surf, if I'm not wrong, some 40 years back, they were permitted to give ad in Gulf countries. Those days, TV ads were not there and you cannot play movie ads in the roads and all. You can only put a hoarding. That to those days was only art, people used to wooden plank, aluminum sheets, paint. So they put a dirty shirt in a bucket, it is dipped, taken out, a bright white shirt. And that product is very good. I think surf, if I'm not wrong, I'm not sure. But, they were already selling little bit. After this ad, the sales has gone to zero, almost zero. They could not understand why, we very nicely put the pictures and all, beautifully done. Later they realized most of the Islam countries, people read from right to left. So they see a bright white shirt dipped in this soap powder become dirty.
Okay.
So when you use symbols, you should be very careful. When you use outlines and symbols, you should be very careful, which geography we are handling, which kind of people we are handling. It's very important. So, and open it very effectively. Okay. When you start speaking, you have to speak very effectively. We always start with ice breaking so that, we make people to speak. Or we normally start with some physical exercise kind of thing. So we create energy. Okay. So you need to make it very effectively. So the first 15-20 minutes, what you create what makes a difference. Okay. And do not change the tone of your voice too often. You don't need to do too much of drama. I've seen many people, they suddenly shout. Not necessary. Your tone, your modulation should be in support with what you speak. That's very important. Clearly define the end of one point and beginning of the next in the structure of your presentation. Your presentation should be like a storytelling. Like once when you complete a slide, the next slide should have a continuation. It's very, very important. Tell what you are going to tell them. Tell them what you have told them. You should tell them what you are going to tell them. Then tell them. And again tell them what you have told them.
Okay.
So that means, you should explain what you are going to tell. After explaining, again take a feedback and again reconfirm it by saying what I have told.
The sum of them.
Yeah. So it is like, instead of trying to say maximum possible, whatever you say in the given time, that should be effective. That's more important. As I said, the biggest problem of most of the trainers is they don't know what to say. They say whatever they know. That may be completely irrelevant. So you should speak only what is required at the right pace, at the right moment. Okay, so that's very important. So now writing a presentation. Remember that writing a presentation or speech is different from having it read. Okay.
I really don't understand this terminology of writing a presentation.
Writing a presentation or writing a speech is different from having it read. We'll come back to this line later. Okay. Find different ways of expressing the same idea. Use the most natural one when you write a presentation or prepare a presentation. Same idea, see, what is the different way you can explain. Okay. Like, for example, that Fourier receiver. I don't need to put that picture also and explain. Just by putting the picture, you will remember that picture forever.
Yes.
So there's a good possibility to remember the other 4 points also.
Yes.
Okay. So you have to find different ways of expressing the same idea. Use the most natural one so that people remember easily. Be particular about what you include in the presentation. Be very, very particular, very careful on what you are including in the presentation. In no way it should be something great which has got no relevance to the subject. It may be a great information, but it doesn't need, if it is not relevant, you don't need to put. Rather, that information will take away the relevance of this. Okay. So be very particular. Prioritize the levels of information. What level of information you are going to give. Okay. So let's say, for example, you are addressing, let's say communication or presentation. Up to what level, depending upon the relevance. And I can also include how to prepare a PPT in this. Yeah. So I can also say in this PPT, what are all the facilities available. I can also say, how to change color of the bullet. So you need to decide what level of information you are going to do and prioritize it. Depending upon the situation, you should know what you can skip and what you should not skip. So that priority you should have. Sometimes, we prepare many slides, but there are too many interactions, that makes more lively for the people to understand. So we might skip some slides and then go. So you should know what you can skip. That's very important. In the process, you should not skip some important slide or important information. So everyone should feel they must have known. Now they should know, and after the presentation, they should feel that it was very nice. Understood? So when you make a presentation, when you give information, they should get a feeling that, wow, I should have known this. Many of my clients would say, sir, if I known you 10 years back, I would have been 10 times now. Good. Now you know me, correct? Now you do what I say. Correct. So now they should know, yes, I should know about this. I should learn this. Okay. After the presentation, they should feel that it was very nice. The presentation, they should feel it's a very important information, very nice thing to know. So that they would start, when they have this feeling, they would start practicing. Make sure the written section of presentation is not too complex or confusing. So if you see most of my slides, I would give very few points and try to use, except one of these tongue twisters, most of the lines are very simple. So when you put the presentation on the structure itself should be very simple non-confusing, and whatever you give also should be non-confusing. It should not be complex. You're not here to exhibit your capability of making a complex lecture. Make it very simple. It's a strategy. Now come back to the first one. Remember that writing a presentation as speech is different from having it read. When you make a presentation or when you give a speech, it's very different from reading it. Reading is different, and somebody listening to a presentation is different. When somebody listens to your presentation, he should be able to get the complete gist and an action point of what he reads from something. You cannot just speak what is written in the book.
Okay.
What is written in sections. So let's say you are going to make a presentation about a book or about a concept. It's already printed. The same if you are going to put in the presentation and going to read it, no one is going to like it. Rather, if I read a 200 pages book, if I am going to write 5 pages gist, that's what should come from the presentation. So that I get the best benefit out of it. This is what is the meaning. Remember that writing a presentation as speech is different from having it read. Okay. Using audio-visual aids. Always rehearse your presentation using your chosen audio-visual aids. Okay. It is better you rehearse it so that you know how to operate it and what kind of hitches you have, so you know how to handle it. Pause when you first ask your audience to look at the visual aid. When you show a visual aid, just pause for a second. Let the audience look at it, understand, then speak. Many people show and keep on speaking. Okay. Number your slides to avoid any confusion so that people can ask questions from that particular slide. Use cartoons to make serious points lighter. Cartoons or some pictures. Take duplicates of all audiovisual materials that you know you cannot do without your speech. For example, some people have a printout of this with their hands. Okay. Or some people may have a chart displayed and explained. So always better to keep one extra copy, because without which you cannot explain. So better to keep it. Okay. So if you plan to reuse your AV aids, audiovisual aids, make sure arrange to have them collected after your presentation. Because those things, if we are going to reuse it, and see to that you collect it back. Write notes on the frame of overhead projector slides for your reference. Okay, this is the old one. Okay. Those days overhead projectors were there, where we used to write notes on the side, where you keep, changing the transparency. But nowadays it's all digital, so may not be applicable. Rather, what some people do is, if they are not very expert in that particular subject, they are practicing now, so they take a printout of the slide with notes. So that printout they keep in their hand, so that before the screen changes, they look at it. Important points are there, the handouts. They look at and speak. Those days when we are using the transparency paper, I don't know, you would not have seen. You have seen an overhead projector where the slides we keep. That the side has got a big wall. Overhead projector. We used to write notes in that. Okay, sometimes. But nowadays, I even put small notes in the slide itself in the bottom. I say next is a game, so I put a small note in the bottom of the slide itself, so that I know next is going to be a game or next is going to be a role play or something. So rehearsing, practice losing your place in your script or notes and finding it again. Tell me what you understand by this.
Okay, it's like I should practice or failure, some FM making.
So let's say you practice and you lost your script or notes. Okay. So whatever notes and script you have written, you lost it. Practice, speak, find out, then get the notes and check whether you prepared well or not. By chance, if you miss anything while presenting it, while training, so what will you do? You can't postpone it. So you have to assume that you might lose, practice it, find out from the notes whether you have practiced properly or not. Practice speaking clearly both in normal tones and at volume.
Okay.
sometimes when people raise their volume, the words get confused.
Yes.
So you need to practice in normal tones also and volume also. In case in high volume, certain words you are not to speak well, better avoid speaking in high volume. Certain words I find it difficult to speak in high volume. So I will not use such words in high volume. Okay. Vary the pace of your speech and decide which pace is most effective. Depending upon the subject, what pace you should use, that's very important. And where the pace has to be reduced, where it should be fast, where it should be high tone. And keep varying that modulation. Actually, you cannot rehearse too much. If you are confident with your material, your audience will have confidence. Like I don't practice too much because most of these materials I prepare it myself from my experience. I won't say 100%, but few I do take from books and take from websites and all, and from some of my mentors. But if I'm going to give as a training or as a session, unless otherwise I am 100% confident without doing the slides, I will not do. So after I prepare it, I just go through once, then I don't rehearse much after 1,300 training programs. I don't rehearse much and I'm confident with the material, then I just speak from the material and from my experience. So then automatically audience will have confidence. The most important thing in any presentation is to gain the confidence of audience. So they need to believe, okay, this person is making sense, he's talking sense. That's very important. So rehearsal should rely less and less on the script each time. When you rehearse it, you should not be looking at the script and rehearse every time. It should rely less. That means the subject is coming inside you. Once you come to that level, then when the material is not there, you should be able to present it. And the material is more like a sum up kind of support where you explain something and sum it up. See, this whole program, what we are discussing today, communication, presentation skills. Normally, we do it in one full day training.
Yeah.
Okay. So we play a lot of games, a lot of role plays. Then we discuss. To sum it up, we discuss this.
Yeah.
Okay. But this mode, we can't play games. So that is why we are continuing like this. Probably what we are trying to do in 8 hours of training, we are trying to do it in 2-3 hours. Okay. So we normally make the people to role play. Okay, discuss that, then show this as a suggestion later. So that is how we normally do. But in this case, this online mode, we need to give more input for the people in a short time. So we can't play role play also. Doesn't make any great impact. So as I said, rehearsal should rely less and less on script each time so that you are able to speak without a script. In rehearsal, if you can do that, in reality, you will do it without the material. And many people may not have confidence when you have a paper and then looking at it and then speaking. Okay. To deliver a speech is okay. When it is a presentation, it is a training, it is expected that this PPT is a support and you are expected to speak more from those points. Otherwise, whatever I am saying can be also typed here and I can just read it. So no one is going to like it.
Yeah, like a newsreader, I think.
That will be like a news. Anyone can read it. Right. Preparing yourself. So how to prepare yourself? Okay. The first thing is believing in yourself. So if you don't believe that you can do it, you should never do it. So you have to wait for the time that you can start believing in yourself, then only you should do it. Most important thing. So how to believe in yourself? Think positively. Audience is your ally. They are your friends, your alliance, partners. So you have to if you think the audience is are superior to me or inferior to me, you are going to be in trouble. You should understand they are your friends. So we are here for a knowledge sharing session, not a training session. That's what you should do. When there's a knowledge sharing, there's always both ways. A good trainer, a good facilitator will always learn while conducting training or while presenting. Because the way people ask questions, it will give you more clarity about your own subject. So you should always think positively and consider audience as your ally. Behave naturally, the audience will warm to you. Don't do too much of drama. Unfortunately, many people think, shouting, dancing, laughing makes people happy, that's only momentarily. After some time, they will not like. Be very natural, behave like a normal human being. You don't need to be a superstar. Speak well, give good modulation. Wherever you have to increase the pace, reduce the pace, whatever we discuss, everyone you should do it. But don't do very dramatically. Should be very natural. Behave very naturally. Visualize a success. Think of a large audience as if it were a small group. You're presenting to 10,000 people. The best thing is to, as I said, identify in 5-6 corners some very seriously attending people, very attentive people. Or you keep looking at them and speak. Yes. You should not look at only one. You should cover all. But if you are speaking in front of 10 people, you may be very confident. When it is going to be 10,000 people, some people may get jittery. The best thing is, in every corner, find 5-6 people who are very attentively listening to you. Look at their eyes and speak. So now you are not going to speak to 10,000 people, you are going to speak to only these 5-6 people. Yes. So even a large audience, you should consider as a small group and speak. This is how you should speak. Okay. Then you will be able to build your confidence. Okay. So most important thing is believing in yourself when you prepare yourself. Analyzing the appearance. Study yourself in a mirror to see what impression you make. See, people say, sir, all this personality and dress, style doesn't make any difference. What content you give, that only makes a difference. No doubt about it. Content only gives a difference, makes a difference. But even to make the people listen to your content, you should be presentable. Okay. So if people have to take it seriously, then you should be serious. There's a book called 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. He says, be royal in your own fashion. To be treated like a king, behave like one. If you want to be treated like a king, you should behave like a king. So if you want to be taken seriously, then you should be serious. So study yourself in a mirror to see what impression you make. If you are not able to make good impression about yourself, you can't expect somebody else to make good impression. So see what you need to change. Okay. Do not wear anything that may distract the audience. Some people come with a fluorescent color, suit or some tie and those things. That is going to distract the people. Be very neat and clean, appealing, but not too much of glittering kind of thing. Okay. Avoid any pitfalls. Look well groomed. Don't forget to shave if you're not a full beard man. Okay. Go well groomed so that people don't notice those things. Don't give a chance for them to notice something which is not groomed enough. Ensure that you have a good night's sleep before the day of your presentation. It is very important. Have a good sleep so that you go fresh in mind. Keep your hands out of your pockets during the presentation. That's very important. People believe somebody puts his hand in his pocket is nervous. So that's a feeling most of the people get. Okay. Either they feel he's too nervous or he's too arrogant. Okay. And both are wrong. And be very polite during a presentation. When somebody asks a question, be very polite to listen to him. And don't make too much of a bossy kind of presentation. Be very polite and speak. So this is very important as an appearance. Okay. Enhancing body image. Analyze your stance to ensure a very good body push. See, how I stand, how I walk. You can take a video and check. So am I standing in a very awkward position? How my hands are moving, where I am putting my hands, how I stand, how I look. Better to, look at all that and see you can have a very composed body structure. Make sure body language reflects what you are saying. When you say move your hands, walk, look at the people, shake your hands, shake your shoulders, whatever is the right body language to what you are saying is very important. Learn to relax your facial muscles and smile. Because as you keep on speaking, there's a possibility you might fail. So you should learn how to, relax. So sometimes, we do audiences speak for 10 minutes, so you relax. At the right point of time, make other people interact so that you can observe and give. And, while listening to people, smile, give an attentive, look. Avoid standing with your back to the audience. As far as possible, don't show your back to the audience. So always better, you stand like this or stand in front of them. So you may be presenting, the presentation is here. So you can't just look at the presentation and show your back to the audience. As far as possible, avoid. And never lose eye contact with the audience. Very important. You should speak, look at the people and speak. Never stand crossing your legs. Don't stand like this. There's a feeling that you are not stable. Okay. Always wear comfortable shoes when presenting so that you're able to walk around. Make sure your hair does not fall across your face. Some people have hair coming like this. That also irritates people. See, this all might sound little old school of thought. People say, sir, who looks at all these things, sir? But eventually, 90% of the people always look at these things. Yes. This does not change much. 30 years back also same, even today it is same. Whether nowadays people go for facial makeup and all before they go for important training. Yeah. So, these things most of the times never change. Okay. And unless otherwise you are a celebrity speaker. Like Rajinikanth doesn't need to groom himself and come for a program. Because there are people who are ready to give 150 crores for these movies. So Rajinikanth can come with bald head without any wig, with the white hair, come and speak. People listen to him. So unless you become Rajinikanth, follow all this. Okay. Now improving your voice. Breathe correctly and normally. Okay. If you continuously speak and start breathing, heavily, that also gives a very wrong feeling to the people. Have a mint or honey flavored sweet just before you begin to speak. Okay. In case if you go closer to any audience, you should not smell bad. Okay. Practice changing the modulation of a few sentences. Maybe some important sentence, if you can change the modulation, practice that. Be relaxed at least for 1 hour before you make any presentation. We always say better you go 1 hour before, set up everything and relax for 15-20 minutes at least. And don't go through the slides again and again. Eliminate tension. Be normal and relaxed during presentation. Don't get into tension at all. Worst case, what you may fail. Next time will be okay. Have that kind of attitude. So only when you are in tension, only you are going to make a lot of mistakes.
You may stumble or you stammer.
So as I said, the first one, consider your audience as your ally. If you consider them as your friends, then you are not going to be in tension. You are going to share with your friends. Very important that you start believing that. There will be some notorious guys will be there. They will ask some questions. So if you can answer well, please answer. If you don't know the answer, tell him this is our answer. Let's go to the next point. This is our lunch. This is our coffee break. Or if you still, let's say 2-3 points he says, you can say, sir, it seems I am not aware of what you are asking. Give me a day's time, I'll find out and tell you. Matter ends. Don't get into argument or get into giving some answer which you are not sure. Yeah. So that will shake everyone else's confidence on you.
Yes.
Okay?
The general word we say, we'll get back to you shortly on this.
That's the best way. Because it doesn't mean that you should know everything in your life. Yeah. Certain things you may not know, and nothing wrong in it. So, but you should know where to get that information. You should tell them, I'll get it back, and you should get back. That's very important. Yeah. You get back and give the information. Delivering a presentation. Now, how to deliver a presentation? Controlling nerves. As I said, no tension. List the factors that makes you nervous about presenting. Be prepared. What all things makes you nervous? List out. For example, the thing which makes me nervous is the temperature. The temperature is hot, I start sweating. Normally I sweat. The temperature is not, 23, 24 degrees, I start sweating. It might look like I'm nervous. So many times, when I speak, I sweat a lot. So it will take 2-3 minutes for me to settle down because of the sweating. It's irritating. So I know this is one weakness I know I have. So I go with a prepared mind. Okay, anyway, this place is going to make me sweat. So I should not mind it and keep speaking. Okay. And smile only when it feels natural to do so. A forced smile always looks false and unconvincing. So when people say, no, sir, as a trainer, you should keep on smiling, that is going to be unconvincing. You should smile only when it is required. I'm sure in the last 2-3 hours session, I've smiled many times. That's only natural. And nowadays, unfortunately, many online trainers, they believe whenever you speak, you should speak only with a smile in mind. It's not necessary. It will look very false. That is, I don't feel convinced with such people. Like already said, a good night's sleep that night before so that you feel alert. You're not tired. There are people, who are comfortable in conducting full day session even without sleeping, but that cannot be continuous. I've done many times. But unless otherwise it is absolutely necessary. Otherwise, you should have a good sleep and avoid, such kind of situation. Follow the same last night routine before each speech. This last night routine before each speech you should have, like, you should sleep well, the previous night every speech. Imagine yourself delivering a first class presentation. Think that you are making a wonderful presentation. When you have that kind of confidence, belief in yourself, you will start doing well. Your enthusiasm and sincerity will help you know the audience. The way you speak, the kind of conviction you have on the concept is going to make the audience believe. Take deep breath, relax, smile, and start your speech slowly. Just before starting, always better take a deep breath, relax for a while, smile, and then speak. So this is how you will control your nerves.
Yes.
Clear?
Yeah. Yes.
Speaking confidently, pace the presentation properly. First, you should know where to increase the speed, where to reduce, where you need to spend more time to explain in detail, where you can skip and go or we can quickly go. You should pace it. Scan your notes in small sections, then concentrate on fluent delivery. So instead of making large section, can you make it small sections? So it's easy for you to remember and explain it more fluently. And use the body language to convey the impact of what you say. It's very important that your body supports what you say. Tell a favorite, relevant anecdote. Its familiarity will put you at ease.
Okay.
Say, for example, we talk about lion or deer concept. So every day in the morning, the jungle, a lion also runs, a deer also runs. Why?
Lion runs for food. Deer runs to escape from it.
So if the lion doesn't run and practice every day, it will be starved to death.
Yes.
And the lion has to run faster than the slowest deer.
Yes.
So that it will get some food. Okay. Otherwise it will be starved to death. And the deer has to run faster than the fastest lion.
Yes.
Otherwise it will become a breakfast or lunch. Okay. So either you are big or small, it is better you should run as soon as sun rises. When we bring this simile to a concept, okay. Let's say you are doing this in Chandigarh, okay, this training you are doing in Chandigarh. So when you say this example, so we say when you go to rose gardens in the morning or rock gardens in the morning, you see fat people also running and you see, fit people also running. The fat people are like lion, they are running to improve. The fit people are like deer.
Yeah.
They want to survive, they want to maintain. Okay. So when you are speaking this in Chandigarh and you talk about a local place where people go for walking, then people will take you, more seriously. They say, okay, this person knows me. So that kind of anecdote, that kind of examples when you give from their area, okay, then people take it. Okay, they understand, okay, he's my man, he understands my problem. So it's very important, use a favorite relevant anecdote. Everyone should know and the relevant anecdote. So make your initial eye contact with someone whom you consider to look approachable. As I said, every corner find out and have an eye contact and keep looking at those people and speak. Do not be afraid to use big gestures and long pauses. Like if you want to say like this, just jump and explain something, don't hesitate. If it is going to make a big relevance and importance, and also some very important concept you spoke, you want that to sink inside the people. You can take a long pause, wait for 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Wait for somebody else to break the silence. Or you break the silence after it sinks in. So nothing wrong in it. Don't be afraid of doing that. So this all will show, you are speaking very confidently. There are a lot of music directors in India, like in a song, they'll create a big hype in the music and suddenly they stop it for a few seconds. Again, it starts.
Yeah.
So that creates that interest. Like that, you should also practice these pauses. So that's how you speak, confidently, and you are able to exhibit your confidence on the people. And other people will start believing that, you are authority in that subject what you're speaking. Closing effectively, as I said, is very important that, you should close every point effectively so that it gives them a long-lasting impression, a long-lasting concept in them, so that they can start practicing it and they will come out with some kind of action in that. So when you close, do not leave visual aids on display too long. They distract the audience. You close it. If you display, after some time, you should stop that. Okay? Do not rush off as if you are in a hurry to leave. Many people may come and speak to you, or somebody may come and appreciate, or somebody take your contact details and contact you again. So better don't rush off. Be there. Always close with a good, strong summary. You should always sum up what you spoke till now, so that those important points will be good for them to take home. Use alliteration or connections or links to make an impact when summing up. So whenever you sum up, try to connect with something so that easy for them to remember. As I said, rose garden, rock garden. So whenever they go for a walking, they will remember this. Okay. Pause between your summary and the QA session. While summary, if somebody asks questions, pause and give answer for that. Finish it very strongly by encapsulating your presentation in 1 or 2 sentences. If you can make the whole concept come in 1 or 2 sentences, it will be good. And emphasize the keywords, whatever keywords you used, like body language, preparing yourself, believing in yourself, and all those key points, keywords, emphasize them. And use connections or links or alliteration to sum it up with the subject of presentation. So this is what they will carry home for further action. So you have to close it very, very effectively like this. Handling an audience, the most crucial thing in the presentation, because until now, whatever we spoke, it purely depends on you. Okay, your input, your knowledge, how we gather, we can prepare it. Handling an audience depends on somebody else also, how your audience are going to behave and how we are going to handle them. Okay. And the most successful people are, most successful trainers or presenters or consultants are those who can handle the audience well and make the audience convinced that what they are saying is right.
Yeah.
So, judging the mood first. Involve the audience as much as possible by asking questions at regular intervals, so that keeps telling you how much they are attentive, how much they are willing to listen to you. Make audience note that you are aware of their feelings. I many times ask in a training, am I going too fast? Do you want any break? Or should we play some kind of game for 5 minutes so that we refresh ourselves? I keep asking these things. People say, no, sir, it's going fine, sir, no problem, go ahead. Sometimes people say, yes, sir, we need 5 minutes break. So they get a feeling, they understand that you understand their feelings. They know that you understand their feelings. Notice the signs of interest and involve them positively. Just look at some people may be very interestingly, listening to you. Some people may be trying to say something. Involve them positively. So they will make it more lively. Okay? If it is two-way presentation, will be good. Okay? Spot the negativity and try to keep a control on them. You will always find some people who will be negative. You should know how to control them. Either give the right answer and ask them to keep quiet, or make them to keep quiet, or tell them I'll come back to you, or tell them, sir, let others also speak, give us some space and we'll come back to you later. Politely, you should know how to handle these negative people. You'll always find negative people. Look for signals and change your style accordingly. Some may be yawning, some may be sleeping, some may be looking at like this, some may be stretching their head. You should understand the signals and see how to change your style. Was your hand moving up or down? Okay. Be aware of tapping feet, a strong indication of impatience. Like people, shaking their feet. So it's very important, you keep observing this, then accordingly you should change your pace or change the style or change the subject itself. Some subject you are taking, it's not going very well. And most of the people are not taking it well, just slowly you can stop and go to the next subject. Say that we'll come back to this later when we have time. Let's go to the next subject, like that. Or change it to some other story, some other small case studies, some role play, game, so that the mood changes. So that's very important. Dealing with questions, practice answering some impromptu questions put to you by a friend. We discuss with somebody who's a good friend and keep answering an impromptu instead of thinking. Somebody asks a question, don't take notes and prepare it. Just keep answering it and find out how much you are able to reply. So that shows how much, strong knowledge you have about the subject. Okay. So that will tell you how much more you have to read, you have to understand. Okay. Remain calm, whatever the tone or intention of the question. I have seen people, somebody told me, after 3 hours of training, and everyone was clapping for me. One person came to me and said, "Sir, this training is complete waste for me." I said, "Fine, sir, what went wrong?" "You spoke in English, sir. I'm a Gujarati guy, I don't understand English at all. For 3 hours, I was just sitting idle." I said, "Fine, sir. Thanks for the feedback. No one told me that, there is somebody who doesn't understand English, or maybe I would have, important thing, I would have spoken Hindi or Gujarati. So next time when I conduct a program in Gujarati, I will call you free of cost." He said, "Okay, happily he went." So the way he said was, like I wasted his 3 hours of time, program was useless. When 100 other people were very happily shaking hands with me and they were taking photos with me. But somebody saying like that, I can't spoil my mood because one person is saying like that. So I handled him like this. No one told me. Actually, no one told me. Or he could have stopped me and said, I can't understand English. And I'm not sure whether he doesn't understand English, but he's very attentively listening. So either he was doing drama or he wants to just to tell him that the subject was not great for him. No point in me arguing with him. That's fine. I'll call you when I do a program in Gujarati. That's it. Yes. The rest he has to speak only to the organizer, not to me. Okay. So, like that, many people will be there. Even when somebody questions also, they will start with the point saying, "Sir, I don't agree with you, sir." I say this is right. There could be a tone like that. Intention can be to trouble you also. But coolly listen first. And the first thing you should say is, "Good point, sir." Okay. First you say good point. Then start answer. We call it yes but technique. When somebody is like that, first say yes. Then say but. This is how it should be. The same you should use for people who are shy or nervous. When somebody is very shy, you ask a question and they say something. He's very shy, he or she is shy or nervous. Say good point. Motivate them. Make them speak. Divert hostile questions back to the questioner or the audience. Whenever the very hostile questions asked, somebody is really irritating you, ask a question back. I always tell people, somebody came and told me, "Sir, what is your income, sir? I want to know." It is an irritating question. Whether it's a hostile question, you should not ask anyone what is his income. Unless there is your income tax officer. Okay. So you can say, "Sorry, I can't tell you." Okay. So that will make him to become a little hostile. He'll ask, "Why, sir? That means you are making this much, that." Some nonsense you can speak. So the simple thing I asked is, "Can you tell me what is the purpose of this question, sir? What you are going to achieve by knowing this, you tell me, I will tell you." Now he has no reply. So when there's such a hostile question, better you ask a question back. Okay. Still, he's arguing with you, then make the audience to handle it. What do you think, audience? Should we continue this discussion or can I keep it separately with them later? Somebody else will come to your rescue. Yeah. Otherwise, You tell them, sir, very good question, sir. Let's not waste everyone else's time. So consume everyone else's time. Don't even use the word waste. Consume everyone else's time. Let us speak about dinner, lunch, tea break. Matter ends. Okay. So always handle hostile questions like that. Never get into an argument. As a trainer, as a presenter, you should never get into argument. Even then, you know what you are saying is right. You can say your points very strongly but politely. Okay. Appear confident and stay in control always. That's very important. Be people who will make you irritated, make you to go out of control. You should be always because you get irritated with one person, you will spoil your name for another 40 people who are sitting, 40, 50 people. Address answers to the whole audience, not just to the question. Anyone who asks a question, don't answer only to him, answer to the whole audience. So that the question asked is on behalf of the audience, you're answering to that. Gain time. Take a while to think and give answer for any different question, difficult questions. Somebody says, you don't have a reply. Take time. Tell him, okay, I will reply you later. You can openly say, I don't have an answer for this. Then we think and come back to you. Nothing wrong with it. It is not that you are expected to know everything. But whatever you know, people expect that you know better, best. Okay? Win over your audience with your knowledge. Be honest with the audience for questions you don't know the answer. Be honest, I don't know. But I can find out. Prepare one or two lengthy answers in advance for questions you are sure will be raised. You know these questions would come, then prepare a proper, complete answer. So if you do that, then it will be easy to deal with the questions. Coping with hostility. Okay. Remember that hostility is aimed at your opinions, not at you. You have to understand. No one is fighting against you, against what you are saying. Avoid prolonged eye contact, it may cause aggravation. So don't look at somebody continuously for long. Sometimes that also irritates people. Okay. If you are stating facts, back them with evidence. Whenever you are telling about facts, you should say this fact is from this particular website or this particular report or this particular experience. Okay. If you are giving a presentation sitting down, stand up in order to assert your authority. Avoid giving presentation while sitting. It's always better to stand up and speak. Okay. Deal any conflict confidently with the audience. Any conflict comes, you should be very confident to handle it first. And try to find some common ground with the audience. This is very important. You know, at least 80 to 85% of the people should be in agreement with you. You have to find a common ground that you have to establish in the beginning itself. So that when there's a hostility, you'll be able to use the audience to handle it. Guide questioners to other sources of information. When questioner asks some question which you don't want to answer now, say, sir, this you can get it from this website, from this source of information. Okay. Wait for somebody, you know, when you go for a training on how to do a turnaround, people say, sir, where I can get loan? Okay. You say you can go to MSME office or you can go to this bank. You can't spend time on explaining that. Wait for questions even if they are not forthcoming. Keep asking. Ask people to ask. Ask people to ask questions. Tell the truth because audience will quickly recognize insincerity and your authority will be undermined. Always tell it. Stay relaxed but alert and enjoy your presentation. That's very important. Should be relaxed, also alert. Enjoy what the presentation you are making. It should not be tensed. I think this is the last slide. Okay. So, how you are going to assess your ability of presentation? Okay. So, the first point, I set aside enough time to do background research thoroughly. So, 1 is minimum, 4 is maximum. Okay. Like 1 is never and 4 is always. Okay. So, if you say, I do it thorough background research, then you should say 4. If you don't do it, it is 1. I organize my material for my presentation around main points. My presentation still sounds fresh after I rehearse it also. Even after rehearsing also, I feel the presentation sounds fresh. It's not the old one I keep on grinding it. Then it is good. My visual aids illustrate and reinforce the main points. I arrive at the venue in time to hear the previous presentation in case it is a continuous seminar. I arrive a little before so that I can take the link and speak. I grab the audience's attention as soon as I start my presentation. It's very, very important. You start your speech in such a way that people start looking at it. I speak at volume and pace that appears to suit the audience. Okay. I speak fluently and confidently throughout the presentation. I make eye contact with all the sections of the audience throughout. My presentation interests the audience and provokes questions. Provokes questions. So, based on the interest, they would like to ask questions. I remain calm in responding to awkward or hostile questions. My replies are to the point and holds the interest of audience. As when I said in one of the program called Powerful Consultant about turnaround. So I said the purpose of any organization should be to make money. So somebody came from Doha. He said, "No, I don't agree." I asked, "Fine, sir. You tell your opinion. We can discuss." So he said, "No. Making money should be a byproduct. Serving society should be important. Providing employment should be important. Using the right technology, safety of the people, environment, take care of environment should be the most important thing. So making money should be a byproduct." So I said, "You're absolutely fine, sir. No doubt about it. I have no doubt on that. Let us ask the audience what they are saying." So 50% of the people said, "Yes, sir, making money should be the last one. This all are important." 50% of people say business purpose is to make money. So how can you say that's not important? So now it is 50-50. And this person is asking question as if, I am a very bad man, only want to loot the people. I said, "Sir, first of all, I agree with you. Providing employment, helping the country to grow, having the right technology, taking care of environment, taking care of people, giving donations, helping downtrodden, should be the best policy of any company. Your company has that, very good. Tell me, sir, how will you do it without making money? If you are not making money, how will you give donations, sir? If you are not making money, how will you spend money for environment? If you are not making money, how will you help the country to grow? If you are not making money, how will you make technology?" No, I don't say making money is a sin. You should not give. It should be the last priority. I said, "Tell me, sir, without making money, how will you do all this? To do all this, if making money is most important, then that should be the first priority." Correct. Right? So we can just put a suffix to it. Making money legally and legitimately is the first purpose of the company. That's what you should do. Making more money forever, legally and legitimately, should be the first purpose of the organization. Do you agree with me, sir? Yes. We agree. Everyone agrees. So there's a very hostile question. He said, I don't agree with you. What you are saying is not right at all. That's how he started. But since I know what I am speaking, I could, tell him. Audience was also like 50-50. Everyone understood, yes, what he's saying is right. So this is how we should handle it. So this ability assessment, you should keep doing it after every presentation. So if you get 12 to 24, then use every opportunity to learn from your mistakes and take more time to prepare and rehearse. If you are getting 25 to 36, provided you do this assessment sincerely. Okay. Your presentation skills are generally sound, but certain areas need improvement. Find out where you need to increase to 4. 37 to 48, you have good presentation skills, but do not become complacent, continue to prepare. So this is how you do a best presentation. Now let's summarize. What we discussed in communication?
We discussed how communication process happens, input, output, and what are the importance of communication.
Feedback
mechanism, and how effectively and how well we are going to communicate. So these are the things we
the most important thing we discussed was how effectively we are going to listen. 4 years.
4 years.
Then in presentation,
Yeah, in present.
4 subjects
Yes,
basically.
4 subjects basically. So first it depends upon 2 preparation. First content preparation, then preparing ourselves and knowing the audience, then knowing the venue and the others.
And handling the
audience.
audience.
Handling the audience, exactly.
Then the most important thing is you should keep assessing your ability and keep improving. Okay. Any questions? No questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.